Basketball is my life. I have nothing else.
This is incredible. This is the best grateful for I've ever heard.
Shooters. That's what we do.
Shooters, a basketball podcast. Let's go.
All right, episode 16. I'm glad we're back. We're back to our weekly catch up. It's always a feel good moment, even though it's bloody hot here in Melbourne. So I'm a bit, I don't know, exhausted. The heat just exhausts you. But how are you? How's the Tassie weather over there?
Well, the Tassie weather has turned into a beautiful summer. The weather's getting hot. I also am sitting here in a sweat, but you were just telling me a bit, not overwhelm the world, but feeling busy. Life's busy. Christmas presents. It's that time of the year. I was just saying I don't really buy many Christmas presents for people. I was saying, your present is my present, is your present. But I got Beth an Apple Watch. We've already exchanged presents because I will not get to see her for Christmas. But how's your Christmas shopping going? Is it been a little stressful, or are you enjoying it?
Slowly but surely getting there. We've just got a heap of like Kris Kringles with like family, friends. I don't know if you've ever heard of the website Draw Names, but it's basically like the website that does all the Kris Kringle for you. So you just like log in, it selects a random name for you, and then it generates all these things, and you can put a wish list and stuff. But I feel like I've got like 5 different draw name Kris Kringles going, so I'm overwhelmed with what to get, but I'm slowly ticking it off. And I just don't want to be that person that you have someone on the list and then their present comes late. Like you're all gathered around a room, and it's just like, oh, where's so and so's present? And that so and so is just looking a bit sad in the corner. So I don't want to be that person. So I better hurry up and finish it, pretty much.
100%, and you definitely don't want to be in that situation. Well, we know with Christmas coming up, my job is full on through playing Christmas Day. But what about yourself? What does do you get a week off? Do you get some time off? What's your Christmas schedule looking like when you're working in the NBL?
It's a good question, because a lot of people they just talk about, when do they clock off? When do they get some holidays? But every time we're just like, no, the NBL keeps going. The NBL's that's the high point in the NBL almost, like it's just busy. But we pretty much I think starting from the end of next week, it's you can just work from home. You take the main days off as much as you can, and then it's encouraged to take like a week off or so from yourself if you can do that as well, if the workload allows it and all that stuff. So you basically just have the main days off, and just working from home. So it's more chill, but it's just funny how it just keeps going, because NBL Christmas is a busy period, but we try to take some time off at least.
Nice, that's good. Obviously, this is a little bit of a tangent. Working from home became a bit more of a norm during COVID. Do you enjoy it over this Christmas break? Do you like working from home?
Yeah, I think I like the balance. Like if you've got I normally do maybe something like 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. So that's a good balance, I think. Like, I got to admit, ever since moving home, I have to travel further, but it's fine. Like, you just get used to it. Like, you complain the first week or two, and then you just get used to it because it becomes part of your routine. So the balance is good. Socializing at work, it's a bit easier to communicate, but of course, I enjoy staying at home, and it's just the travel time that really is the killer from going into the office.
I like that. Well, are you ready to jump straight into basketball news?
Let's do it. I've got a quick, I always like timing these episodes very well. So first signing, I think last week or the week before, we pretty much timed it dead on with a few hours before some news broke. I can't even remember what it was, but we've done it again because Abdel Nader, he's a ex-NBA guy. He's signed with Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. I don't even know if you've seen this one, but hey, I'm telling you right now, they got a new import. So I don't know if you know much about him, but I reckon he's going to be pretty damn solid for them once he actually, finds his feet and all that stuff. So did you ever know about that?
Well, it's beautiful because the last 2 weeks, as the season goes along, you find, I've talked about this before, like your stress level, let's say the cup, it just slowly gets filled. And so you have to do things to debrief. You have to do things to bring it back down because it just gets a lot. And so for me, I've deleted social media off everything and haven't really touched it much the last 2-3 weeks. I'm working on that little side business and having some fun with that. And I've gotten my media stuff to the point in which I'm happy with. But one of the negatives of it is I don't see a lot of the breaking news. I don't see the new call, the new kind of news that's being broken, what NBL is doing updates. I'm always on the NBL app reading that stuff, kind of watching the games back and studying from a basketball perspective. So my boy Darren always does up a beautiful little podcast sheet, and I open it up, always give it a little quick read before, touch on some things, see what I want to talk about. And the first one comes up was this signing. I haven't heard of him, and I haven't heard of this signing before. So can you tell us something about him?
Well, he's a bit removed from the NBA now. I think like maybe 2 years ago he was with OKC, if I'm not mistaken, or even Phoenix. I think he was kind of alternating between those two, the last I remember of him. But he almost reminds me of the whole Anthony Lamb situation. Like, he's not that far removed from NBA. Anthony Lamb was literally like a season ago, essentially. So he's a little more removed, but I reckon he'll kind of, once he finds his feet, I reckon he'll have not a similar impact. I just reckon he'll slot into that Phoenix side pretty well because I just reckon it's a pretty damn good pickup, even though he's a bit removed from it, so we're not really sure what he can bring, but I reckon it's a good one.
I agree. And well, I'm excited to talk about Southeast a little bit when we jump to those game reviews, but we had some leaks from the media into some inter-practice huddles. Mitch McCarron, who is with the Adelaide 36ers, captain, championship point guard, was seen giving a speech post-practice, kind of talking about stop blaming. There was some swear words. Let's take accountability for our situation. What were your thoughts on this speech?
It's an interesting one because we spoke briefly just from like my perspective as just like a fan or like working at the NBL, and then your perspective as a player. And it was really quite interesting how they compared, because my perspective was like, oh, that's like, not that's rare, but almost like, okay, we don't often see that stuff because it just happens that Channel 10 or whatever had a camera on the go for everyone to see. So that's probably why it, obviously got big. But you basically said that stuff happens probably more often than you would think. But my first take on it was I actually really liked it because Mitch McCarron kind of strikes me as the type to just be like a cool, calm, collected kind of guy. Like, he's been around the league for a while. He's like a leader of that team, and it's almost like he's just putting his foot down a bit. Like, unless he does this often, who knows? But to me, it was putting your foot down, and it was kind of just like, I'm sick of whatever I'm seeing at practice. It's time to turn a corner. Things are obviously not going very smoothly over there in Adelaide, so he was basically just putting his foot down. So I liked it. Yeah,
it's always cool when our conversation happens, and that's what this podcast is about. It's kind of the fan's perspective and a player's perspective. And for me, when I see that, is it happens a lot more often than people realize. A practice is uncomfortable. There's intense conversations. Guys are getting in sometimes physical fights, not throwing punches and stuff, but intense wrestling matches. It's heated. Guys are holding each other accountable. And when you're on a good team, it's probably not getting to that point, but these conversations are constructively happening all the time. And every now and then, you need some intensity. You need people to hold each other accountable. Now, at the end of the day, you hope that it's not falling on deaf ears, because sometimes in a season, guys can check out, and it can happen pretty early. And that checkout isn't not showing up. It's more just not buying into the little principles, not making those small sacrifices. And that stuff's very, very important when it comes to winning in the NBL, especially when there's no easy games. It doesn't matter who you play. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I just think it was interesting actually hearing it. But like you said, it's a heated environment. This stuff probably happens a lot more than we think. But like I said, the camera was just switched on for that one. Before we jump into things, I just want to quickly shout out Bradley Moylan. Hope I'm saying that last name correctly. But he's a Tassie photographer. You've probably seen him around. But he's been very supportive of Two Times Creative, me and my brother's brand, and just us in general. So I just wanted to shout him out because it's always cool when you do something like Two Times Creative and you kind of make a new website, Instagram, and all that stuff. And, the small community that builds up quickly that have been following myself or Michael for a bit, that is just like all for it and all for support. So it's just cool to see.
That's awesome. Hey, everyone loves people that support each other. That's what it's all about. We're going to get into the game recaps now because it's been an exciting weekend. And at this point in the season, separation begins to show amongst teams. So we start the weekend off with Sydney versus Cairns in one of the most bizarre games that you will see. Sydney got the win 86-83, but they were up big time in the first half to a weird kind of the air conditioning went out, and this is in Cairns, guys, so they're sweating. It's hot. Trust me. You got 5,000 people in there going crazy. It's boiling hot. The shot clock also. So the 24-second shot clock stopped working. It was not available for the rest of the half. And then Cairns stormed back in an epic way to shoot a game-tying 3 on the buzzer that went in but was waved away by the referees. So it was just a chaotic game. And there's kind of the summary of it. But if we're going into basketball details, what did you enjoy about the game? What were your thoughts and the chaos of it all?
Chaos is a perfect way to describe it, because I don't exactly know what happened with the technicalities, but as you said, there was a power outage and it caused a 50-minute delay with the players just awkwardly sort of, I don't know, standing there talking amongst themselves, half warming up, even though the stadium was bloody warm enough, so you probably wouldn't need to warm up. You probably almost just feel like you need to shoot around to do the right thing. But shout out to the commentary team and everyone that worked on that broadcast, because filling 50 minutes of dead space is nothing to sneeze at. It's not an easy thing to do, I'm sure. So did you? I don't know what you were doing in that very moment, but did you make it through the entire game? Did you make it through the 50 minutes? Because I did not. I left and I came back and it was still going.
I definitely didn't sit through the 50 minutes, but it's very impressive. In my personal opinion, though, the NBL should have paused the commentary and just put on an episode of Shooters Podcast. I think that would get the people engaged. It would have been a great recap of the previous week. You would have got some gratitude practice in. And so maybe next time, Darren, you can shoot him a message, say, right now is the shining moment, chuck on some shooters and we'll be good to go.
It's actually a great point. Like, it would be much easier for everyone. They could take a break and anyway, that's a great suggestion. I thought you were going to suggest something fully serious then, even though that may be a fully serious comment. But even basketball-wise, I don't even know what to make of it, besides from the fact that it must be very awkward to sort of celebrate a game winner and then get it called waved off. I kind of got secondhand embarrassment for Jono Antonio, but good on him for soaking in the moment that lasted 10 seconds before they're like, no, you actually lost.
That's what we were talking about as a team, just how crappy that must have felt to have the highs of hitting that, walking over, getting ready to play that overtime, especially with the epic comeback. You're expecting yourselves to win in that OT. You're on high, and then to see it waved off, that's crappy. And it was the right call by the referees, but sheesh, you don't want to be in that situation. That's just unlucky. It was a great move, great shot, and just a flick of a finger.
It's all it takes sometimes. Moving on to Illawarra Perth. Now, this was another crazy one to me, because we always talk about it, and sometimes it's like it's true, sometimes it's like, yeah, you might just say it for the sake of saying it. But this league is so unpredictable. Like, if anyone told me that Illawarra was going to beat Perth, who are on a 6-game winning streak, then you'd just be like, okay, you haven't been watching. But that's what we love about it, because I don't know, it's just you can never predict what's going to happen. The Hawks did their thing. Justin Tatum is 2-1 now, so it could just be that whole thing we were talking about weeks ago, where someone new sort of stands in front of the club and you're like, I'm going to get around you and support you, and it builds a bit of extra energy. So what did you make of it?
Yeah, I 100% agree. That change of coaching can do a lot. Their rotations are looking good. The boys are playing hard. To keep Perth to 82 is impressive. And so I like what Illawarra is doing. I can tell you right now that if you were to be playing Illawarra this weekend, you're nervous. That's a game where they could beat you at your place and they can beat you at Illawarra. And yeah, they're playing good basketball. Both imports are guarding well. The young fellas are playing hard and good on Illawarra. I mean, yeah, they're a team right now that's no joke.
Yeah, we like that. I was going to say, did you get a chance to look at, take in all of the jerseys for DC round? Did you have a favorite or a least favorite, or didn't you see much of it? Because some of them were a bit hard to see if you were like the normal broadcast angle, but you had to kind of wait until they were close-ups to really get a good perspective of it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think it was definitely somewhat harder to see than others. I do have a favorite that actually hasn't been shown yet. It will be the Jack Jumpers White Joker one this weekend against Perth, which I'm very excited for. But personally, I don't follow comics too crazy, so I haven't heard of a lot of them, like the Beetle one from Brisbane. Yeah. But I just love that. I think the Illawarra's was called Hawkman, which is awesome. And then if I was Perth, I would be complaining that I haven't got the Flash.
True, true. I liked there was Sydney's one. They had Superman, I'm pretty sure, but it was purely for the fact that there was a few photos of like Jalen Galloway sort of flying through the air like Superman on a breakaway dunk, and it was just kind of like a neat storyline. So I enjoyed it from the photo perspective. But you know, they're fun. You saw the crowd and the kids getting into it as well, which is what it's all about.
I agree. Today I did a little photo shoot. Not sure if it's been revealed. So the Jackies are coming out with a nice little Christmas Day uniform.
Oh,
And let
okay.
me tell you, it is awesome. It is crazy. It's incredible. The Christmas Day uniform. Wait till you see it. It's probably one of my favorite uniforms I've ever seen.
Well, you heard it here first. You might want to. I don't know if that will make it to the episode if you can actually talk about that, but hey, I'm happy to because it's the first I'm hearing of it.
No, definitely. We can
Shoot us
chuck that.
first.
Yeah, we can chuck that in. I'm telling you what, the Christmas Day, it's exciting.
Love it, love it. Speaking of you guys got the nice win over New Zealand, and you have a habit. You yourself have a habit of the last few weeks of just making some very fun plays. That half court shot, did it feel good from the moment it left your hands? I'm going to throw that typical question at you.
Well, we got the win,
You did.
97-80. We've got to get that in there first to make sure.
Sure.
But it's a weird. I always say it's a weird thing because I genuinely have a delusion in my head where I believe I'm going to make every shot, and so that I think is what makes me a great scorer and a consistent scorer. But does it feel good? I don't know. It probably feels worse when I had another second. I had another half court shot in the same game and
Mm,
missed it. And that
yeah.
probably felt worse than the make did because when I made it, I expected it to go in. And so as I'm rising up for that second half quarter, in my head, I'm thinking, damn, I'm about to make two of these in one game. This is iconic.
Could have
And
been.
so it doesn't feel good. I don't know. It is a nice feeling, though, when you shoot it from the half court and it's straight because you get to look at it for a little bit and you get to go, oh, that might go in.
That's true. That's
So
true.
it felt good. They always kind of feel good. So yeah, it's just what I expect. I know that it's not cocky. It's just the truth.
No, it's why you are to where you are today. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, of course. The other one I wanted to touch on was just quickly Jordan Crawford's shot making ability. He's just we've talked about it before, but I particularly like that last move. That was like I actually didn't realize it was that far down the line towards the end of the game, but I think it was like a minute or 30 seconds left on the clock. So not garbage time, but he was still getting defended, and he was just like pulled off a series of moves and crossovers and did that step back. It was almost like a one-footed thing. I don't even know what it was. It reminded me of you back in Germany that time with that one-footed three, almost, but it was different. But he's just fun.
He is fun to watch, and I tell you what, right now the Jack Jumpers are playing some good basketball. We've
Mm.
improved in this little gap. We have defensively gotten a lot better, and then for us to go to New Zealand without our leader Milton Doyle and get that win was big for us. And then
Yeah.
especially when we're relying on the defensive end and the intensity of play and what we pride ourselves in. So right now we've played officially 14 games. So we are halfway through the season. And
Wow.
right now, we always do the analytics when we're breaking down film and talking about all that good stuff. Melbourne United right now is sitting first in offense, first in defense, and the Jack Jumpers are sitting second in offense, second in defense. So we're not where we want to be, but we're improving and we're happy with how we're trajecting heading into the second half of the season.
It's still very solid to be second in both those categories. Are you guys second on the ladder now? It makes sense like you would be.
Yes.
Yes, nailed it. Nailed the brief. No, you are looking good. So yeah, please keep it up, would you? Cairns Adelaide. This was a fun one. Cairns. I'm gonna shout out from the jump. McCall with it was a tied for the most in the 40-minute era. 15 dimes, 15 assists. So that's very impressive, especially in the NBL. Like in the NBA, they do some crazy statistics. So maybe the casual fan might think that that's all not all that impressive, but it's actually the tied for the most ever in the 40-minute era. So something cool from that. But Cairns got the points. It was a fun game. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it was a good game. First game for Adelaide without CJ as their coach. So it's
Yes.
always interesting what you're going to see. There was definitely some rotational changes in that lineup. Mitch McCarron was off the bench. My boy Nicky got a few more minutes, which was good to see. And then Alex Starling was out there playing hard. But Cairns needed that win, and they went there and they handled business. And Patrick Miller and and they're fun to watch. I enjoy watching Kansas' style of play. They're playing fast pace. They're athletic. They're fun, and Sam Wardenberg's out there playing good basketball, and it was good to see them get a win. Kansas is probably my favorite team to root for, to be honest. I love what they're doing up there and the way they play.
Yeah. I feel like maybe it was like last season or actually, no, it was probably 2 seasons ago when it was like Scott Machado and Cam Oliver and all them running around. The term that I always thought of was they're everybody's second favorite team, just because I don't know, there was something about them, and there's something about the club that is clearly carried on that kind of just appeals to everyone. Bobby Clinton had 14 points in the first quarter. That was cool. I especially liked a purple patch from DJ Vasiljevic in the third quarter. He was doing his thing on offense, but he was actually like engaged and doing his thing on defense as well. Like he was causing havoc that way. I think obviously you guys as shooters, like if you make a few, you're going to be a bit more engaged on defense as well. And he was going for it, and it reminded me of a few weeks ago. He did the exact same thing, and basically I think he just like celebrated to his Adelaide crowd and made a few good moments for the old vision that we can use for promo tapes and stuff. But yeah, it's nice when players that don't get the props that is for the props full stop on defense, that you can actually see moments like that and be like, nah, they're solid in that area.
100%. Melbourne versus Brisbane. Now Melbourne
Ugly.
Melbourne gets the win 103 to Brisbane 68. It was an interesting game because in the first half, it looked like Brisbane was playing better basketball. They were battling on the defensive end. They're looking good. And then I tell you what, my favorite player to watch, Chris Goulding. I think he had 15 points in 3 minutes, all tough threes. I just love it. I love it. I just love his shot making, the swagger in which he walks back with, the way he flicks his legs. I got a little crush, but yeah, they played good basketball, and then they closed out. They held that lead, and it wasn't what I think a lot of people expected that game to be.
Yeah, I can hear the joy in your voice and the warmth as you talk about Chris Goulding and say his name to yourself. But no, I can't blame you. He pretty much just made that game look ugly for Brisbane because, like you said, it was actually close in the first half. Last one, Phoenix, Sydney. That's a big win for Phoenix considering they had Craig Muller out, just released Will Cummings. As we've said, they got Abdul Nader coming in, but clearly wasn't playing in that one, but they were on demand. Benny Air did his thing. We can talk about him a bit later, but he just makes me laugh about how much he loves the trash talk and how much he just loves all that after stuff after he scores. But it's fun, and that's why we love him.
100%. I love watching Benny play. I sent him a text straight after the game, just 35 minutes from a dude kind of almost out of the league, battling, doing his thing, to be out there playing 35 minutes and helping your team get wins. That's what you love to see. And then Creaky being Creaky, 33 points. Alan Williams, that's a front court that they're strong, they're tough, they got great touch. And I tell you what, man, this is what I talk about all the time. You can't get too caught up in anything in this league. You got to be watching the games for what systems are in place, what defensive teams are loading, what's it looking like? Because just like that, a team that no one's been talking about, people are kind of always quickly to go under the bus, is coming third on the ladder in Southeast Melbourne, and it happens quick.
It does. And I think this week, Thursday night against Melbourne United, they've done this before where Phoenix look the goods. They show some stuff. They get a big win. They get a nice few wins. Then they go up and down. But if they can get this win against Melbourne United, because I think it's something like the last 7 out of 10 they've lost to Melbourne. So if they can actually claim that scalp and beat Melbourne on Thursday, I think then we can properly start, maybe talking them up as like that championship contender, as well as you guys, as well as Melbourne, a few others. So yeah, I don't know what it's going to happen on Thursday night, but it's gonna be fun.
An overall exciting week of basketball, but I swear it always is in the NBL. That's how I feel. I live it and breathe it. This weekend, the Jackies is a big weekend. We fly to Perth, play Perth in Perth, fly back Sydney at home, who's waiting for us. And this is a test for the Jackies. This is are we a real deal? Are we up there with the best team in the league? Can we make some separation in those top two, putting a loss on Sydney and Perth? So that's where I'm focused on this week. That's where my mind is at. And the boys had a good practice today. So I'm looking forward to that. Is there anything you're looking forward to this weekend before we start hyping up some people that we love to watch do their thing?
That is large, actually. I didn't realize. I knew the Perth one, but I didn't look ahead to what is it? A Sunday?
Sunday,
I don't
yep,
know.
Sydney at
Yeah.
home.
Damn. That's a big weekend. Pressure's on, but that's two great games that I'll have to watch, even if it's at a 9:30 my time on Friday. I'm sure I can do that just for you. I quietly like Perth games sometimes. If I can stay up, it's fun. Hype someone up. I just want to hype someone up. Go on a bit of a rant. Anyone that's caught our attention, just give him some love.
Well, my hype up's a personal one today.
Mm.
It's shout out to my little brother Lloyd, who I just got off the phone with. We're breaking down some of his college film, and this hype up actually has two people. So it's first off, it's hyping up Lloyd, and it's like him doing his thing over in college, and the grind of that, and the fun moving to another country to play basketball. We played 30 minutes the other day as a freshman, which is epic. And then my second hype up is Darren. Yeah,
Hello.
you know exactly who I'm looking up. And you recently just did an interview on a college player. See, I try and keep up to date with my friends and my people. Sometimes it's hard without social media, but give us a little something about the interview. About for people who don't know, he interviewed. I'll let you take it. I'll take it away. Give me a little breakdown.
Look at that. Caught me off guard there. I like that. Even though you're off social media, you've got tabs on me somehow. There you go. I like that. No, Harrison Hornery is an Aussie kid out of Queensland playing for USC at the moment, which is a big school over there in the States. But I pretty much only came across his name maybe a month or so ago. And whenever I see an Aussie kid that's playing in a big school like that, or even any school that's kind of interesting, I'm just like, okay, I gotta know a bit more about that person. So I just went straight to the source and literally just chucked him an Instagram DM, and he was more than happy to chat. So yeah, did a nice little feature article on him, which was it was actually very good timing because Bronny James, LeBron's son, was debuting for USC, like their teammates, the day after, or 2 days after. So I had to quickly turn around that article because I wanted people to see, that Bronny name, and they'll be like, okay, I might actually click into this random article. But it was fun to do. So I kind of reamped the website to be more photography and writing heavy, but to feature the writing, obviously. So, hey, thanks for shout out. I want to do more of it. So if anyone's watching and it's more about the stories you athletes want to tell as well. Like, rather than, we always talk about it, like the classic post-game press conferences and stuff. Like, no, just give me something authentic that you guys actually want to talk about. So I'm looking forward to doing a bit more of that stuff as well.
There you go. Keep on continuing with your hype up, but it's good stuff.
No, your hype up was better because I'm going straight to the typical hype up, and I just want to talk about Pat Miller for a bit. Patrick Miller, he's been almost, I'm going to say almost like the most consistent player this season, and I think now that they're starting to get some wins, now that there's been multiple occasions where he's just put the team on his back. I just love what he's done because don't forget he came in as he was meant to be like a backup to Taron Armstrong, I believe. So that's kind of switched because Patrick Miller's just been killing it. He's the starter now. Shout out. Huge arms as well. He's got he's built. Let me just say that he's a very strong individual. Some of us aren't blessed with that strength, but that is okay.
He's been playing some good basketball, getting downhill, bounced back from that concussion well, and so shout out to Patrick Miller at Cairns. He's been good.
Wow, this is a negative space. I'm just going to start chucking up random things I'm grateful for. This is incredible. This is the best grateful for I've ever heard.
This week, I'm grateful. I've said this before, but I always say it. I'm grateful for books. And let me talk about a little bit in general. I've got an author right now that I'm just loving. I just went and bought all of his books. So literally just went and bought two of them sitting right here. So I'm pulling up two of them on the camera. If you're looking, Ryan Holiday is his name. And so he's an author who writes about Stoicism, which is a philosophy. It's a way of life. I would highly recommend reading some Stoicism, Ryan Holiday in particular, if you kind of feel in a little area where you're like, I want to improve my life. I'm not really happy with how it's going. Like, I don't know, like I feel a bit stuck. I'm not happy with who I am. Stoicism is a great place to start. It particularly attracts to young men because the philosophy was built in ancient Rome, over there, and so you got like the war and the gladiators, and it's all built in to the philosophy of Stoicism. Because to be a philosopher back then, you used to have to work and go to war and become a king and kind of live the full spectrum of life. But I'm loving his books. Ryan Holiday, I just finished one, halfway through another one, and I'm enjoying working through those. So if anyone's interested in some stoicism or kind of self-help, Ryan Holiday right now is on fire. You can pick any of them up. But yeah, that's my grateful for.
Love that. Love that. I got to actually stay through. I said to a few episodes before to you that I got to start reading a bit more again, but I have not followed through on that at all. So I should do that. There was actually a book that spoke to me as like a little Christmas present to myself, because the blurb was literally just like, do you just feel like you don't have enough time to do everything you want? And it kept going. But that literally first line was like, that's speaking to me. So I straight away got it because I just wanted to, it spoke to me and I felt like it was good. It's called Time Magic. I'm pretty easily convinced, aren't I? But that's fine. That is fine. What else was I going to say with that one? What did you mention at the end there? I was going to follow up with something.
Stoicism, life, something along those lines. Books, Brian Holiday, Gladiators, War,
Gladiators.
King.
Sam, there was something I hate when you think of something and you're like, yes, I'm going to add to that conversation. Yes, that didn't remind me at all, and that actually didn't help at all. But I should have done that better, because darrenjbarker.com.au is my website. So if you want to look at that article that we were talking about before, you got to plug yourself properly. So please go to that website. Yes, thank you.
I like that. That's a great plug. Give us what you're grateful for.
I'm grateful. Mine's more wholesome as well. You're great. Your hype up was your family. I'm grateful for just family time, because I just went up to my mum's place. She lives like up in the country, it's like an hour and a half away. Had a good drive up there, but my grandpa was there as well. And there was one moment especially that was very like wholesome to me. I'm not sure if you're a Snapchat guy. I barely use it, but the time I do use Snapchat is just like those stupid filters that make you look like old or like a baby and stuff. And me and Jess were just being idiots with it the other day, and Mum stumbled upon those photos on my phone, and then it was really wholesome. Like, she was just doing those filters with her and her dad and just like having the time of their life, like looking at themselves when they're like as babies, as cartoons. And it was just really funny to me that those two that, you know, they're not the most actually, Mum's pretty good with technology, but my grandpa especially not so much. But it was just a nice moment that they were literally just staring at my phone in stitches and just like laughing about it and stuff. So it was nice.
That is nice. It's funny, the filters will get anyone from any age. It can get 4-year-olds on there laughing at themselves to 84-year-olds on there laughing to themselves. And family time, man, that's especially at this time of the year, can be overwhelming.
Yes.
Getting presents. If you can sneak in some family time, that's the best part of this time of the year. So I tell you what, it's a pretty damn good grateful for. We got some listener questions. Would you like to ask away?
We do. I don't know how you answer this one, but someone was just happy with your half-court heave, and he's just, or he or she, I'm not even sure who asked that, but they're just like, will you just be taking all of those half-court heaves now? Like, if that shot clock's winding down, do you technically have a say on that because you've got proven experience?
Well, it's interesting because our shoot around, so this is like a little walk through, we do on game day, like an hour, we go through scout, we talk about the other team, get shots up. We always end it on some half-court shots. And so I always back myself, but I can't honestly say I've been making the most on the team. This year, the top 2 half-court makers have been Anthony Drimick and Majuk Dang. So I back them in. I always want to take it because I think I'm going to make it. But those 2 in particular are making a lot of half-court shots right now.
Okay, that's good insight. I like that. Majuk Deng with a very good game off the bench as well on the weekend. Forgot to mention him, but it feels like a lot of teams do that. Those half-court shootouts to either end it or, I don't know, on game day or something. But there you go. Last one. You said you weren't a big Christmas guy. I mean, you're playing on Christmas, but what are you hoping Santa brings you? If you get any presents,
I'm hoping Santa just brings me a Christmas Day win. That's what I would like more. And then I'm just not big on Christmas presents, but like I'm working right now towards this app, and then I'm hoping this app makes me enough money. It's about $3,300 for a camera, and about $4,000, yes. So like $700 extra for a lens, some lenses, and then so I can be a professional photographer with my boy Darren. And I want that before I go to Europe, so I can start learning kind of off court, on court video. I'm definitely more into videography, so like taking cool videos and like kind of delving into that space a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm working towards, and I'm hoping this little side business, when I get it up and running, can make me enough money to buy some camera and keep reinvesting in the business.
Love that. That's cool, actually. It's always cool when people are kind of interested in that field. Feel free to bounce anything off me, of course. But no, that's cool. I like that. What was I saying? Oh, what do I hope Santa brings me? It's a great question by whoever put this. I don't really know. I just hope Santa brings all my other gifts for other people on time, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's a good one. I can tell you what, that's a good gift. I like that.
Yeah, I just thought of that on the spot. But that's all that came to mind because I really don't want to be that person.
That's a good one. And then we'll finish this episode off with, you've got a staff 3-on-3 tournament this weekend. Break it down. Give me a quick little run through.
Yeah, well, it's next week actually, like next Tuesday. So if whatever you're doing on next Tuesday, just think of me because I might be, I don't know, getting some respect on the basketball court with my colleagues. But no, it's just like a sort of like an end of year Christmas activity. We can't obviously like stop and stuff because there's games on the weekend. But Tuesday is a day that they've identified as a bit of downtime, and yeah, we're having a 3x3. It's like part of the 3x3 hustle brand and stuff, but we're doing a bit of a staff one. So wish me luck. I haven't played in a while. I still run up and down every so often, every weekend, but you see. We'll see how we go. I'll report back to you next episode, and if I'm down about it and I don't want to talk about it, then you'll know why.
Sometimes I don't wish I had lived in Melbourne, but it would be cool if I did, for the reason that I could do some stuff with you all the time and get to hang out with you. And, you know, this 3-on-3 would have to have some roles reversed, and I would have to bring my new camera and film some, you know, some Darren getting buckets content. But maybe one day, who knows?
Actually, what are you doing next Tuesday? We haven't organised the teams yet.
Maybe I could make a fly-in little game move.
Appearance, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I like that. Well, the chances of that are probably zero. But
Slim.
I respect the hustle. Darren, is there anything you would like to say to all the people listening before we check it out on another Thursday?
Just that I hope it's not as hot wherever you are listening to this lovely episode, because my cooler's broke and it's very warm in here right now. So sorry if I look a bit extra sweaty, but I was just sipping on a nice iced coffee throughout this thing, which cheered me up. So no, I've got nothing to say to the viewers and listeners besides from that. So take it away. Good luck against Sydney and Perth, because that's a big weekend. But thanks for listening. Jack, say some words.
I love you guys. Have a great day. Shoot a podcast out.